The Copperhead Metal Detecting live stream is proudly sponsored by We Dig Metal Detectors. Offering all major brands, We Dig Metal Detectors is known throughout the metal detecting community for great customer service, pricing, and knowledge.
Starting soon.
Since 20 Dig Metal Detectors has been helping veterans and newcomers with all their detecting needs, from pinpointers and professional detectors to walk-through security systems and law enforcement wands. We Dig Metal Detectors has you covered. Visit www.wedigmetaldetectors.net today. Service, speed, knowledge, no compromises.
You're good.
Yo.
Are we live?
You're live. Go.
Are we live?
We are
rocking.
Let's
live.
go.
Yeah.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen.
What's up, everybody?
Everybody.
Going on?
You gotta love technical difficulty, right?
It happens.
You gotta love it. Hi, Ezra. Hey, everybody.
What's up,
Live free and
Ezra?
dig. I saw
Ambient girl, what's going
Ambient
on?
girl.
Live free. What's
Charlie's
up?
in the chat.
Mr.
What's
Harley.
going on?
Charlie.
So, I don't know if you notice anything about this beautiful, beautiful background we got going on, produced by your boy Andy O'Neill at We Dig Metal. It looks good. What do you guys think?
Looks really good.
Yeah, this is fresh.
Yeah, this is really nice. Look, I don't know if you notice it. It's very subtle, but the screen kind of slowly moves across before, like a snake almost would, So it looks really good. Snakeskins is on the background. If you don't have those yet, definitely look into it.
Get with the program.
Tonight we have Joel Green.
Hey, Joel.
What's up, Joel?
What is
Digging
going on,
deep
everyone?
beats.
Diggin.
You were a popular man.
All right.
No.
You were just on a different stream just 10 minutes ago, and now you're on this one.
Yeah.
Either people really like your face or they're getting sick of it. That's all I got to say.
Hey, it happens. It happens. I like live streaming. It's it's very
fun.
personal. It's very personal, and you get to meet a lot of new people. So
Yeah, it really is.
It's super fun because you get to react or interact with everybody in the chat, and then you get to also have a guest every single time. So it's nice.
Yep.
And Joel, we are now part of the digging team for Andy O'Neill. How does it feel? We're all teammates.
yeah, that's awesome. I'm proud to be part of it. And when Andy asked me, and yeah, I mean, you work hard for years metal detecting, and you get to that point. And yeah, I appreciate Andy. I was involved in Snakeskins also, and
Yes, sir.
and Andy and I have been friends for a long time, so I appreciate him asking me in, and it's an honor being on with you guys. I mean, you guys find some awesome stuff, and you're an awesome group of guys, and you guys just go out and have a good time, just like I do every week. So,
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, it means
Yeah,
a lot.
we're in a little bit of a different spot as far as where the country goes, though. Where are you at, Joel?
I'm in Ohio.
Yeah.
I'm in northern Ohio, but I travel all over. Ohio.
Come to Jersey, buddy.
Yeah, I mean, I'm planning on. I mean, I'm going to Digstock, so I'll meet you
There we
guys at
go.
Digstock this year.
That'll be perfect.
Yeah, Dig Stock
And,
will be really
Then we'll see you there.
Yeah, but I would love to go to PA, and I went digging with the Copper Poppers, which I think did people get you guys confused at all? I mean,
maybe. I think were we first? I think we were first.
I think you
weren't we?
guys were first. They've only been around for like 6 months, I think. around
Yeah.
there.
But
Yeah.
they also listen. They
find
some
some
amazing-
super cool
Oh,
stuff,
yeah.
man. Those videos are awesome.
Oh yeah.
I mean, they live. A lot of them, or a few of them are from PA. My buddy Mike's from Ohio, and they jump back from PA to Ohio all the time. And
Because they're like Western PA, right? Out by Pittsburgh.
yeah,
Okay,
out by
yeah.
Pittsburgh. Yeah, like I don't know if you guys know Joe Pittsburgh, relic hunter or coin hunter. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Him. Yeah.
Yeah, he came out with us that day, and yeah, Ohio. But I mean, I'm telling you what, you guys need to come to Ohio too, because I think we're becoming like we're just finding, we're kind of like you guys. We find a lot of different stuff, large cents, silvers, a lot of old coins.
Did So you went over to Pennsylvania with those guys, or they came to you?
No, we stayed in Ohio. We were gonna go south of Pittsburgh. It was gonna be about a 3-hour drive, which I have no problem doing.
No.
And
Been there, done that.
yeah, Tyler, one of the guys couldn't come, so we just hit up some areas in my buddy Mike's town.
Nice.
And he actually lives in a really old town in eastern Ohio, and I found some cool stuff.
So are you guys, when you guys are in Ohio doing that, you know, you're traveling around and whatnot, you've already had the research done? You probably know a lot of the areas, but do you already have these permissions? Are you guys door knocking? How's it going over there in Ohio?
Well, you know, the two guys that I go out with now, my buddy Dave and Jordy, which I do metal detectination with. Dave came upon this spot. There was about 6 or 7 home sites, fields, just on one road. And we did those for months. That's where we call it our Largy field, where we pulled, I think, 20 coppers out of, 5 Bank of Montreal tokens, seated dime. I would say probably about 60 buttons. I mean, probably maybe more than that if we counted them all. But I mean, that was all one road in his area. And
Isn't that wild?
Yeah.
It was nuts.
The hot spot.
Yeah, to find an area like that, which he's in the chat, Charlie Harley. To find an area like that where you find that many coins and that much, you know, traffic as far as relics go and that sort of stuff, it's rare. But when it happens, you make sure to make the best of it.
So exciting!
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Well, that's really cool. I mean, you find some really cool stuff on yours too, and you use the Equinox.
Yeah, actually, I used the Simplex for a while, and I used the Amphibio, and then I went with the Equinox, and I tell you what, I love the Ding.
Yeah,
it's a great machine. Isn't
I mean, I'm still getting used to it. I don't have a lot of hours into it yet, but I mean, I'm finding. I mean, I'm able to pick signals out of trashy areas, and you know, and it's nice because my buddy Jordy that I hunt with a lot, he uses one, and he's been using one for a while, and he also used an E-Track before that, so he's been a Mind Lab guy for a long time. So he was able to give me pointers on his settings, but I was using his settings for a little bit. And I looked up on YouTube about settings, and I'm like, I just need to find my own settings, and that's what I've been doing lately.
Yeah,
I'm actually we're going to the beach next week for vacation, and my wife's allowing me to take my metal detector. So I'm going to do some beach detecting and maybe find something. I've never done it before, other than I think the last time I beach detected was with my kid, and it was with a bounty hunter. So
gold, that's where you find the gold.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping. I would love to come out with a ring.
It's funny because we live real close to the shore, and none of us do any beach hunting whatsoever. Man. And it's funny you say that too, because my first experience on the beach was with a bounty hunter on Coney Island. I went out there.
Coney Island?
Yeah, went out there one time when I first moved here with the bounty hunter and tried Coney Island. So I got some points.
Now, you guys all in Jersey?
Yeah.
Joe is not.
Except Joe, he's up in Connecticut.
Oh, you're up in Connecticut.
Yeah,
and that's a good area too.
Yeah,
I get to drive all the time. I'm the driver.
Hey, I'm the driver too. So I mean, Dave and Jordy live about a half an hour or an hour and a half east, or no, northwest of me. So every weekend I'm driving an hour and a half, 2 hours anyway. So kind of get you. When I went out this past week with my buddy Paul, it was about an hour and 20 minutes. So I'm getting used to it. You know, you put Howard Stern on and you just drive.
Just cruise, right? I'm a big audiobook guy.
And try not to get a ticket like I did a couple weeks ago. So.
Avoid that.
You got to find enough stuff to pay that back.
$135. It was a camera ticket too. They got me on the highway coming back.
Those are not.
You're not escaping that one.
Right.
Ohio is notorious for that kind of stuff. You have to watch out when you're driving through Ohio.
That's good to know.
You know what?
Bro tips.
You get up in the morning. It's funny. I don't know about you guys, but the mood before a hunt, no matter what, you're always a little pumped up and excited. And then after, depending on how long and what you found, It's dead quiet in the car sometimes on the way
Oh
back.
my god. It's a completely different. It's a 180-degree different experience sometimes on the ride home. That's for sure.
Now, how long do you guys usually dig for when you guys go out in the,
Depends.
depends.
Depends,
but-
like 11 hours, I think, right? 10, 11 hours.
When does the sun go down every day? I mean, give or take.
Yo-
One day.
Are we finding anything? That's the question.
Right.
Yeah, that's the
Finding
question.
something.
Yeah.
It
If
might
you're on a
last
hot spot, yeah. Usually after like 6, I can go 8 hours. I can go 10 hours if I need to.
Say,
But
we were on the property with Charlie for like 6 to 8 hours, that third property. So
If we all had headlamps and Charlie let us stay, we would have been there till midnight.
Right.
that's awesome.
Yeah. Joe says we would even camp out if we could, which is probably not a lie.
that'd be fun, honestly. Camp out dig is something I really want to try to do.
Have you guys done some overnight stuff, Joel?
No, actually, but I, it's you guys have the same weather as I do. I mean, it gets awfully cold in Ohio, and
Yeah.
it's when the fields are open. And I want to, though. We're actually talking about maybe in October, end of October, November, having a metal detecting nation hunt. So
okay.
you guys could be invited to that. We're
Yeah.
just gonna look for a big spot, invite like 50 people around there, but we need to find somewhere where we can camp out, because I think that would be
Right.
cool. Everybody,
Yeah,
everybody bring a
that'd be
tent
awesome.
or a camper or whatever you
Yeah.
want. We'll have a big
Barbecue with
bonfire.
some barbecue sauce.
Yeah,
Right.
everybody, bring some big pallets and some pallets and have a huge bonfire and then
Absolutely.
go do a night hunt.
That would
That'd be
And
so cool.
so we're gonna start planning that probably for October, probably after dig stock,
Yeah,
closer
it's
maybe to
posted.
Thanksgiving.
that'd
As long
be
as
cool.
weather, I mean, shoot, pretty much all of November in Ohio was 50 degrees.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Mhm.
it's
Yeah,
Ohio is
we
pretty
were-
bipolar.
Yeah, we were pretty, lucky with the weather this winter too for
Oh, yeah.
Jersey. There was only a certain
Oh, winter.
small amount of time where the ground was frozen.
Barely
Yeah.
any snow.
Yeah.
It's like 2 weekends and we still were out there, but
Yeah.
And when
Yeah,
it's
'cause-
frozen, break trimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Break shovels.
Because the year before, I was saying I was going to take a big blowtorch out with me. That's how frozen
Right.
everything was.
You know,
I think we had a
Worth
cold
it.
streak for a
Think
week
you're
that
onto
was like
something.
it was like negative 25 for a week.
that's miserable.
And we went out and tried to dig in a field, and
Permafrost everywhere.
I love my Predator Ranger, and that gets me through a lot of hard stuff. But yeah, nothing was getting through this ground.
Gotta
I
get an
needed,
ice
like, a
fishing auger.
blowtorch. Yes, an ice fishing auger. I mean, but
So
I'm happy that we all live in a, like I have some friends that live, like look at it. I mean, take Andy too. Andy lives in Missouri. Yeah, there's some Civil War stuff there, but Andy's never found a large scent. I have so many friends that has never dug a large scent.
Yeah.
And it's crazy when, I pull, I mean, these are some of my large scents just from this year. That
Yeah.
I mean, and it's just like, it's crazy to,
Right.
and it doesn't get old. That's the thing. Like, I've been asked many times, "Oh, you've dug 18 large scents this year. I mean, does it get old?" I said, "No,
No.
No.
Every
know-
single coin is different, I mean, and it's until I dig like some sort of uncirculated coin, like there's always a better version of that coin that can be out there.
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
So it's and what I mean, and all the key dates and stuff. It's just there's so much to keep you on the hook.
Think
And the
about
best,
how many. Sorry.
go ahead.
Think about how many coppers you pull out of the ground that have no detail on them at all.
Yeah.
So like you've got like 10 of those probably at least. So it never gets old because it's always I always compare it to a lottery ticket. Every time you open the hole, it's like scratching a little lotto ticket.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. The cool part about it too, and we in this hobby talk about it all the time, is that it doesn't matter if you dig 40 matrons. Each one of those matrons were probably dropped by a different person or has a different story.
Yep.
They're all 200 years old, so that's why every one of them are cool, because they're so old. And what are the odds? I mean, even with the machinery that we have now and the technology we have now, you're walking through a field, you find something this big. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? We're good at what we do, but to do it over and over, you feel lucky every single time you walk over it. And you get like on the Equinox now, you'll see that the 30 or 31 in the middle of a field, or maybe it's a 26, depending on if it's a kg or whatever it may be. But whoo, that high tone never gets old. I'll tell you that.
Stops you dead in your tracks.
Yep. And you can hear. And I noticed that. With the Equinox a lot better than any other metal detector I've used. That, man, it hits those large sets. I mean, like you said, you just stop and you're like, oh, I mean.
Going back to what you said, you have a buddy who helped you who had an Equinox, and having Trey already have a Nox when I got my 800 was a godsend, because switching from the AT Pro at that point, that was a pretty big jump and completely different machine to learn, but that helped out a lot, and it is an awesome machine to use, and really just pick anything out.
Now, where'd you go from, Mike, to
what's that?
No, what metal detector did you have?
So before? I started off with a Fisher F44. Then I went from that to an AT Pro, and then from the AT Pro to the 800. So, every single machine switch was a brand switch, which is a learning curve change. But quite honestly, I didn't use the F44 for too long before I was like, screw it, I need an AT Pro or something, something more serious at that point. Not that the Fisher was a bad machine, but I just wanted to take it to the next level.
Tell you what, I love my AT Pro though.
Oh, it's a great machine. It's a phenomenal machine.
I want to get another one just to have. I mean, just in case I ever want to go out and mess around with it.
Yeah.
But I can tell you what, the Simplex isn't a bad machine either. I mean, it really isn't. I haven't used it much lately. I haven't even updated it, which I need to. And but I always like to have two metal detectors just in case somebody wants to come out with me that metal detecting. My son still wants to come out with me once in a while, and it's a good starter machine for a lot of people.
Well, and it's funny you say that, Joel, because we use that as a stellar when we're trying to door knock or something along those lines.
Yeah.
We have an extra machine just so we can say, hey, if you want to try it out with us, we actually have an extra machine that you can get out there with us and do it. And you would be surprised that there's a lot of takers on that, because it's definitely interesting. And one of the things that holds people back is that, well, what if they find something crazy, or something valuable,
that GW button or something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So having that backup machine when you're door knocking is like it's a good strategy to have when you're trying to get permissions.
Yeah. When I went with my buddy Paul this weekend, I didn't take it with me. I'm like, I didn't even charge it or anything. But the second house we went to, the lady was all into it. It was Paul grew up right across the street, so they've known each other for a long time. And she brought out this metal detector. It was a Radio Shack special. It had the knobs, and we're sitting there playing with it. And I'm like, you know what? I wish I would have brought my Simplex, because I would have had her. I mean, I'd have been like, here, use this. Yeah, I mean, the tones are easy enough to figure it out. I can give you some VDI numbers to look out for. And so, of course, when I don't take it, I would have somebody be able to use it. But
that's just how it always works.
Our dog said he needs two detectors just because he breaks stuff. I'm just seeing a lot of that stuff out there right now too. And then Jerry said Knox all the way. Where did he get that Knox at, Eric?
This guy right here.
There you go.
I sold it to him. I couldn't. Wasn't fit for me.
What are you using now, Eric?
E-Track.
E-Track. Joe, are you using 3030?
Yep.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Can you tell by his right bicep?
I know, right? He's like, boom. That's an awesome machine too. My buddy Don uses one of those, and that thing, and the E-Track loves silver.
Yes, it does.
Holy crap!
Yeah, it does, Eric.
I had like 37 last year. 37 pieces of silver.
I wouldn't mind picking one of those up, but man, even used ones are still like $800.
Yeah.
I looked at. I got mine from a veteran. He actually wasn't even a veteran. He was still active duty. He upgraded to the 3030, and he sold me his E-Track for $700.
Oh yeah, I would have.
And that was 4 years ago. That was when it was like $2,500 retail.
And that's a nice thing. I mean, the E-Track's kind of like we'll say like a Porsche in the Mind Lab, and then of course the 3030 is a Bentley. But like the E-Track is, I mean, it's the price keeps going up. I mean, it's like the older, because I mean that machine's been out for a long time, and it just seems like every year the price is either stays the same or it's crazy.
Got that value associated to it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course, Eric's driving around in the Porsche. How many silvers did you find last year, Eric?
37.
37 silvers.
37 silvers, 6 coppers. Now this year,
How many were from your honey hole?
Well, 37 were from the honey hole.
Ah, that's awesome.
But
There's nothing wrong with that.
Since we hit the honey hole, like it was over 200 silvers in that place.
That's
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, was it like a Boy Scout camp or something?
Yes,
Or
it was a Boy Scout
Yeah.
camp.
My buddy Donnie, Detection Connection. I'm surprised he didn't stop in. That's what he does. Like when the fields aren't open, he'll find Boy Scout camps, and man, the silvers they pull out of those.
Yeah, it's incredible. Yeah, it definitely is. So, hey, we were talking about this before stream, but I was actually, and I want to see what people have found in the chat. I was actually reading an article recently of a person who was metal detecting and found a World War II medal that they were able to bring back to the original family. The person who actually earned the medal was passed away, unfortunately, but they found the closest relative who was 70 years old, and they brought it to him. This is an example of the medal right here. We pulled it up, but
That's awesome.
so in our hobby, it's like one of our goals, and I think it kind of says a lot about us as a metal detectors. Almost everyone in this hobby wants to find something they can return. And Julian, if you can see it up on the screen, Julian found that dog tag, and we were able to return it back to the veterinarian of the town, whose father opened up the veterinarian office in the early 1900s.
Originally.
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy.
And they have it displayed. They wrote an article. We were putting it in the local paper, and they have it displayed at their vet office. But Julian, that was an awesome find too. And we didn't know if we were going to find the owner or not.
We didn't. When it came out of the ground, we're like, what is this thing? And it turned out to be like a 60s dog tag, and had the full name of the doctor on it, Migliaccio, all of that. And with the research that we did, we found that the son was still alive. And with a couple clicks, it's like you can connect somebody to an object that's been lost for so long.
Yeah, for 100 years. Has anybody in the chat found something that they could return back to the owner, whether it's a class? Obviously the class ring thing is like the enigma.
Essential.
Yeah. So I hope somebody's been able to do that, and what a great video that would be. You know what I mean? To be able to return something that special to somebody. So we got a lot of awesome people in the chat. Jersey History Hunters is here, Adventure and Dirt, Tyson Fury, Ezra as always. I saw Brooklyn Treasure Hunter, Mom Detecting.
We got squad.
We got a lot of cool people in here.
Oh yeah.
So
hopping.
Yeah, Joel, I saw that you do you had like a recent video of you doing your homemade
electrolysis.
Your homemade electrolysis.
Yeah.
How long have you been doing that?
I've been doing that for probably 2 years. I've been doing it off and on. I started out with a small little Tupperware thing that I would just do in the kitchen. I would just do some smaller relics, and then I decided, hey, I'm gonna go big or go home. Not the biggest one, but I watched a lot of YouTube videos, and I took some ideas from this person, and luckily I had a battery charger laying around, so I'm like, why not try it? And I've done quite a few. I need to actually put them up on my Facebook page. I have a when I get back from vacation, I have a couple videos in mind that I'm going to do, but I have a hammer that I found out at like what we call our largie field, and there hasn't been a house on there since, they were gone before 1900. So it's like one of those ballpoint hammers. It's really rusted. I'm going to throw that in there, and I'm hopefully going to restore it and use it.
Store it up.
That'll be awesome.
So cool.
You know, get a handle
cool.
for it.
That's one thing I've been looking to do at some point soon. When I find a decent, nice axe head, I want to restore an axe head. I've never done it before, but I think that would be such a cool project to get going and have something cool at the end that you can show off. And I've seen some people, I mean, tons of videos out there and of people doing awesome jobs of that. And Joel, I watched your video you put up the other day. I thought that was really sweet video.
Yeah, these are a couple things that I've done. This is a skate from like 19.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's super cool. Yeah.
I think it was like 1910, 1920 around there. I need to spray it again. You know, I use that. A lot of people bake it and then they wax it and stuff like that, but that doesn't last forever. So I use that Restore X stuff.
Yeah.
Man,
And
that can be good.
Yeah, I mean, and it looks the same and it turns it black. Here's a horse stirrup that I found at my honey hole. I found that a couple years ago.
That's
you can see
awesome.
it's starting to rust a little bit at the bottom, and I'll have to spray that again. And then I found this trivet. It's from.
Wow.
So what they did is they put the pots on it.
Yeah.
They would put like a pot, and it's Dewey. And I did some. He was a general in the Civil War.
That's wild.
So, and these are all been through electrolysis, and this thing you couldn't even see. I mean, I didn't even know what it was. I mean, all these cracks right here were full of rust.
Yeah.
And that's what electrolysis can do. I mean, so.
Yeah, absolutely.
There are some interesting replies to your question earlier in the chat, Trey. Jersey History Hunter says they found World War II medals. Tyler said he returned a military graduation ring back to a guy in South Korea.
Wow.
That's
Another
so cool.
Adventures in Dirt said Vietnam helicopter pilot tail rotor chain bracelet off of the bird that he was shot down in.
What?
Crazy.
That's insane. That's so cool.
Ezra's helping a landowner look at a gun he found on the property. And then there's one other one that was really interesting I saw. Hold on a second.
Well, Charlie said his wife's car needs electrolysis.
Metal detecting North Carolina. He said he was approached by a policeman in a park and he thought he was going to get the boot. And the guy said, "Hey, could you help me find my wedding band?" He found it in 15 minutes.
That's awesome.
Oh, that's so.
That's some really cool responses.
That's a good get out of jail free card, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You got a PBA card out of it.
Yes, exactly. Friends of police card.
Yeah. He's like, "Oh, here's my spare gold card."
Yeah.
On one of our recent hunts, we were able to pull out a Mexican centavo that we were like, how the heck did early 1800s
large
coin? Yeah. How did that early 1800s coin get in their front yard? And it turns out their great grandfather was fighting in the Mexican-American War back in the early, 1800s, and had to have brought it back from his tour and then dropped it in their front yard. So, I mean,
that's crazy.
Isn't that nuts?
Yeah. So cool.
It makes you wonder sometimes, like when I'm doing these, like I'm not a huge fan of doing houses, but of course in the summer it's either that or parks. And and I live in Akron, which unfortunately there's old parks here, but the chance of getting stuck by a needle, they're very drug infested. And it's just like, do I want to take that chance? But so it just makes me wonder, like, what people were doing. Like, you go to a field and everybody pulls out 20 something coppers, and it's like, a penny back then in the 1800s was a lot of money to them.
Yeah.
And how did they lose a coin that big? That's my question.
Every time.
I could see a little silver dime or something, but how? I mean,
hey, I can't judge him, Joel, because I lose my phone and it is massive.
We need to get you one of those. We need to get you one of those little tile thingies you can stick it on it so you know where it's at.
Hey, shoot! At one point, I left my metal detector at Charlie's session, and we drove all the way.
Stayed away. Well, the other thing with that, Joel, that that interests me is when you find hold coins, right? That that were clearly a necklace, right? So obviously, someone at some point long enough ago still realized how cool and unique that coin was. And for them to lose it back then to still get buried X amount of inches under the ground, I think that's even a different aspect that you can kind of think about with that.
Oh yeah.
I have a couple hold coins that are hold in the middle. I mean, and I've heard a couple different stories on why. I mean, I have one. Obviously, it was used as a washer, because one side. But my buddy told me once that sometimes back in the day, the Indians around the area would punch out the face because they didn't respect.
Oh wow!
I mean, that's something that my buddy Donnie's been detecting for like 38 years.
Yeah.
So
one of the common theories I heard for the holes in the coin is back in the day they would sew them into their clothing to hide the money so they wouldn't lose it, and that
obviously it didn't work.
Fall out. You know? You put it under your armpit, and you're gonna rub that string until it falls out. So
I mean, it's like buttons too. I don't know about you guys. I love finding buttons.
Yeah,
I have a whole collection here that needs a. I mean, one of my display cases is full of buttons. I mean, I love the personal items.
Paul from PA Pirate, he found a Real button in the latest video. I think the THB released.
Oh,
so it's like they pulled it out of the ground. You could see like 2 spots on the back where the shank was soldered on in silver. It's like,
cool. Well, didn't Kurt? I think Kurt found one that had the shank still on the back, right?
He did.
Yeah, he also found one. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And to be in that area.
Yeah. Well, speaking of that, that field that Paul found it in was the same permission that we were in our latest video, right?
Correct.
Yep. So we have some highlights that we have ready for it from our latest video. If you guys haven't watched it, definitely take a peek at it, because it is the best hunt as a group we've ever had. We've ever had. Our first clip. Let's look. I think it's Julian seated. So we start as he's pulling that up. We start off the day, and Mike finds a seated, and then I find a cat bust dime at the same time. That's in part 1. So this is Julian's, seated coin, and then we do the exact same thing.
Nice.
Back to back. Julian finds a seated coin, and then Joe finds an amazing cat bust dime. But what are the odds,
Right.
Do it twice in one day, like really close together, and to have 2 seededs be both people's firsts.
Yeah.
And one of the caps at least was one person's first, and then you got another cap that was your first cap also. So it was just a heck of a day. And you know what's crazy, right, is we were at that permission, and in the video I say it incorrectly. I say 1878 because I can't really see it, when it's all dirty, but it turned out to be 1876, and I'm still fairly certain that Kurt has never dug one on the Hoover Boys. So he went there the next day, and I found it before he got the chance to.
Heck yeah, man.
I feel bad, but I still want to shout him out because they went there and found some awesome stuff the next time, like really awesome.
Now, Joe, when you found that cat bust dime, how many silvers had you found before?
0.
So that was your first silver period.
His first silver.
Silver period. Yeah.
Just retire on top at this point,
It's kind of like my
Look
first.
at Joel's face. Look at Joel's face. He's like, "Oh my god!" I thought the same thing.
Well, the best.
Joe, I thought you had a pocket full before, but hey, for that to be your first coin, that's amazing. I mean, your first silver coin.
It is. It's not.
Well, the worst part about it, nobody would give
I can't
it.
believe
They
it.
kept passing it around. I'm like, hey,
give it to me.
Gotta do it for the video, bro. Gotta do it for the video.
He had to ask permission to hold his own coin. Oh God, Joel.
Now, does one of you guys film or multiple? I mean, who's the filmer out of you guys?
It's mostly Trey.
Right?
Yeah.
It's good now.
Miles apart. It's everybody.
Yeah, it's good now. Everyone's starting to, like, if we're across the field from each other, it's impossible. It's fun because if we're all standing next to each other, it's cool to get the reactions and the interactions between everyone. But if we're so far apart, Julian's starting a video a lot, Mike's video, Joe, whoever has the phone ready to go. So
that makes it easy. That makes it easier.
Yeah.
Like me and Joe found this little spot at the top of the hill off the suggestion of like the landowner's grandson. And when we were up there, we were finding
my
stuff.
flex for the day.
Yeah. And you got your first copper for the day right out of that area.
KG2, I think, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we went over there and we were so far away. You can see it in the shot in the video. Like Trey and Mike are like little specks.
Yeah.
And we have to film the video
Gotta
while
use
it
the buddy
happened
system.
because like I think it's really organic. Like carrying the find over to your buddy and be like, oh, here's the reaction is cool. But like when you find it, that moment is like really special.
Yeah, I mean, and that's why I do YouTube. I mean, because I have caught so many special moments on my channel this year, friends that I dig with first. And I know my friend Scuba Sonia was in the chat. She drove from New York City to dig with us for a weekend, and she found her first large cent. And one coin that's evading me is I need a 1700s copper.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, I have a couple Drake busts that have no dates, but it's like, I mean, I know to find one in the 1700s is kind of rare, but
our Grow Road property produced almost nothing but 1700s copper.
I need one. I'm coming with you guys in the fall.
Gotta come.
I'll take the drive for sure. I mean,
How
many of those were New Jersey copies?
alone.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
the
I
vast
would love
majority.
5 or
I'd love to
6.
find a New Jersey.
Trey found a Jersey copper in the middle of the Pennsylvania field.
Yeah.
It was.
We didn't know what it was at first because it was pretty trash, but Joe ID'd at the end, which was
He
cool.
was able to see it, the
Wow.
shield on the back.
We saw it before any of us.
We've all been together. Our channel is probably about 2 years old now, and we've all been together like collectively probably a year and a half, maybe a year. And in the full year, I found one Jersey copper, and then this year alone, we found as a group 6, 7.
Well, you
And
found
my guys got 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want my first one to be, I mean, I really want it to be US. I mean, I'm not going to if I find a King George, I'm not going to complain.
Yeah.
I mean, I love the US coins. I mean, I found like two reals. Yeah, 2 reals. I mean, and they're special to me because one had me broke the 1700s, silver club. But it's just something about US coins. And, to be honest with you, I love Wheaties.
Yeah, me too.
I love when I went out this past weekend, I found I think 3 Wheaties, and I was happy.
Yeah, and you
I mean,
kept throwing it in Nancy's face too.
Yeah, Nancy, yes, I did. I was like, hey Nancy, this one's for you. She's my girl. I got to give her a shout out. But I do. I love. I mean, because some of those Wheaties you find are over 100 years old. I mean,
Yeah.
and that's the large cent of the future, though. I mean,
it is.
Once the copperheads go around digging every
All of the
copper out of the
coppers.
ground, there's going to be nothing left.
Don't let us close, buddy. We'll find them, man. Say that. The Equinox murders copper coins. That's for sure. So
I think I'm gonna switch next month to the Knox.
We got a bet going on. It's not going to happen. So
Oh, I had to pay my credit card off, and I've got this one payment, and the next month it's clear. So then it'll put the Knox right on it.
What are you using now?
Max.
You're using the Max.
And I have a Deus Light in the cut, but like I don't know. I could buy a whole machine for 800. I could buy the box for the light, and I was like, I'll just get the I'll just get the
the Knox. Even the 600 is really good too.
Yeah.
I mean, my buddy.
Rings.
I used
a couple of my buddies. Yeah, they just now like just a quick like what for fields are you guys using field mode?
We are, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot of the time.
Yeah.
My buddy Mike
Using a
Buck
deep search coil.
yeah, from the copper poppers.
Mhm.
He uses field 1.
Yeah.
That's
He
what we use a lot.
swears by it, and he slams the coins.
It's
Listen, we switch. The good thing about having Mike and I is we're always comparing. Always.
Yeah.
So he'll be in 50 tones. I'll be in 5 tones. I'll be in field 1. He'll be in field 2. And we go vice versa. And if he's finding more, hey, what are your settings?
Yeah, no, exactly. Jordy and I do the same thing. I'm like, hey, what sensitivity you running on? I'll yell to him. You know, I mean, so
it's good to have a sounding board.
Yeah, I've never used 50 tones. I need to get used to the 5 before I.
we really just started tapping into it, maybe 4 or 5 months ago.
Now, what's that for? Is that like maybe to find smaller silver, or is it
just more discrimination within, targets themselves, I guess. I mean, there's a lot more. It's wildly more distinct on certain things. I mean, just being able to pick up like even some of those trashier mid 20 signals that aren't, I don't know. It's hard to explain, and the way I think about it is it's hard. I can't explain it, but it definitely makes it more distinct either way.
Yeah, on our side, we pretty much when we have enough energy, we dig everything.
Yeah, I do.
No matter
also,
what the tone, no matter what the tone was, anyways. So I mean, if you're in that mood right there, or 5-tone is fine, because if you get a repeatable tone, you're gonna dig it, especially in 17, 1800 field. But 50-tone, you can start hearing different different tones for, hopefully different silvers, like that cat bus half dime that I found. It was funny because it was a 21 and it sounded so sweet and a little quiet from one direction, and from the other direction with Mike's 800, it was a 16, 17. Like it was a mid-tone. Yeah, it was weird. But that, I mean, I say it in the video, I'm like, this is why you either, orbit, try it from different directions. If you think it's trashy, just try it from other ways. If you get a repeatable signal in the Knox, you go for it.
Yeah, and that's what I always dig. I mean, and I learned that from Jordy too. That a trim rings up 19, just for everybody, because when my buddy Dave found his trim a couple weeks ago or a month ago, that was crazy.
Yeah, mine ring up I think 17 in the frozen ground, but 16, 17, and I thought it was a shotgun shell, which is crazy. And then Indian heads ring up really low too. So
I wish Indians were a little higher on that machine. I really wish, because I started using this coin program that everybody, like a lot of my friends started using, and you could change I was changing the tones on the 5-tone, trying to get Indians to ring in a little higher.
Yeah.
But then every signal sounding like a high tone, and it just I need to do a reset on it before I go to the beach next week, and just do you guys put any programs in like that, or do you guys just use it, turn it on, ground balance, and go?
I've seen a program for deep field coins that I've tried before. It was I think it was on a 5-tone setting on 5 kilohertz or something, or was it 50 kilohertz? I can't remember. 5 kilohertz. And they say that it gets deep, but you always get pessimistic when you're not finding something on a new program like that. So I was on it for about 30 minutes or 40 minutes, didn't find a tone, and then switched it over to field 1. Then another hour goes by where I don't find anything, and then I finally pop a copper. Yeah, and then it justifies me switching. But there are some ones I really want to start digging, and digging into and trying out, like those different, when you're using the different kilohertz and trying them out that way, because they say it does go even deeper.
Yeah.
And it goes deep anyway, even with the stock coil. I mean,
it does. Yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry.
No, you go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say. I mean, I've been amazed at some of the minuscule targets with the 15-inch coil that I've been able to snipe out. And Trey and I always just say, it just goes to show how accurate that thing is. It reassures you that you can find anything, like a tiny copper pellet with that 15-inch coil. It's a screamer. It's not even a questionable tone. You're like, okay, this is something, and it's nothing great, but still with that size and the ability to pick that out, it's just off the charts.
I wish they would come out with an 8-inch, 9-inch coil.
Yeah.
Because I think the 6 is, I don't know.
You got to go slow with that thing.
With the 6, and then I think the 15 is pretty. I don't know what I'll get. I'll eventually upgrade it to a different coil, but I do. I mean, I like the stock. I really do. I think it discriminates very well. And
15, baby, that's the way to go.
Farm fields, the big coils, baby. That's the realness.
Yeah. So, hey, Ezra asked about the new stickers, Joe. Where are we at?
Picking them up tomorrow.
Picking up the new stickers tomorrow, Ezra. So you'll be one of the first ones to get one. We'll send one your way, that's for sure. Matt from Gone Diggin'. What's up, Matt? He's in the chat. Hey, if you're not going to Dig Stock the next weekend after that, Matt's throwing a little shindig down there too. So if
down the beach.
I wonder how the signups are going for him. I haven't talked to him in a while, or we haven't talked to him in a while. So North Jersey Detector's in here too. Hi, buddy. What's going on?
What's going on?
Who's North Jersey again?
Jason.
Yeah. So, hey, we have a full chat. It's been popping off the entire time.
Yeah.
So, Indiana Tone said, "What settings do you use for deep silver, dimes, and trashy parks?" I saw that one come through. He took it out, but it's funny. We don't use a lot of parks, or we don't do a lot of parks because we're always on a personal, property, whether it's a field or a house. But I would say for those house properties, I compare those to a trashy park because you're going to get a lot of the similar stuff. There's a lot of stuff. I'll tell you this: the person to answer that's Mike because he kicks my butt every time we go to a freaking house. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I mean, for the houses I'm running the park programs at that point, and 50 tones there that's where we really have one of the more recent house permissions that we had to where we found the Mexican large scent. Was really the second time we were there was when we kind of started breaking into the 50 tones, and with the variety of targets that are in the ground at this house, it was an early 1800s house, and the family had lived in there the entire time. So I mean, there was again a variety of tones in there. So to be able to hear the differences and then kind of learn trial by fire, if you will, on that, and kind of just dig those out and see what there was, it really kind of explored the depth of 50 tones. But we dug some really nice silvers there. Barber dime. I got a walking or a standing Liberty quarter. But
Mike, what recovery speed were you on that day?
So I run, with the 800, we've got the eight swing speeds or recovery speed. So I run a 4 for the most part, and sometimes 5 if I'm questioning myself, and then I get in my head and switch back and forth. But usually 4. In the middle can't be too wrong. I don't have a egregiously fast swing, but I keep a nice pace.
That's one of the huge positives about the Equinox too, is that its recovery speed is so fast. That was one of the main key selling points of it. And now you see the Apex coming out, and they're bragging about the recovery speed on that. So I'm interested to see how that does in comparison.
For sure.
Now that's a good question for you because we're talking about swing speed. Who's the fastest out of all you? Like everybody when they come out with me, like my buddy Dave and Jordy and whoever, they're like, oh, Joel's here, and then Joel's here, and then Joel's here.
Yeah.
I'm usually like, and it's funny because when I went out to Copper Poppers, James from the Copper Poppers is the same way. Like you'll look up and he was right next to you, and he's 100 yards away. So who's the fast one?
Any of us swing that fast?
I'm sure it's not Joe, but
I don't think anybody does.
My guy Jerry, he's Speedy Gonzalez.
Charlie Harley's the fastest swinger of us all.
Charlie is.
No.
No, I mean,
honestly, I swing pretty fast if I'm gunning through a field, but when I hit a target, right, I'll immediately slow down. So like, if I hit something that's period, what I'll normally do is I'll do a full arm's length swing in a circle around the object completely, at least once, maybe twice, depending, on how irony it is. And then I'll keep it moving. But I learned that from Greg, and Greg is on our team. He does tons of parks, and it was particularly, if you guys remember, Trey will probably remember that spot where Greg dug the bridal rosette with the snake running around it. So that
I think we lost him. Boom! There he goes.
Boom!
Down goes Trey.
Well, we lost Trey right as I was talking.
He'll be back.
And I think the stream's messed up now.
He'll pop back on.
There we go.
Who was that mystery voice I just heard?
Oh my gosh!
It's Zordon.
It's the Wizard of Oz.
From the Power Rangers.
It's the wizard.
We're off to see the wizard. Anyway, I was saying he found that there, and then when we were in the yard, right as he was about to leave, he had like just got some silver out of the ground. He's like, like you should stick around here, swing low and slow because like it's very high concentration of targets, and that's what I did. And now anytime I hit one of those nice targets, I'll do that because right as soon as he left, I found like 3 or 4 more Indians right out of the same spot that he was digging.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes I have to just calm myself down and go, you're going too fast. I've really started gridding a lot. But gridding's boring, man. I'm sorry, it is. I find it extremely boring. I just, hey, there you go. Back.
I mean, it's something that, and you train. I often find ourselves buckling down and saying, "All right, screw it, let's grid it out. But I think all of us initially, it's just like, all right, do the bee pattern, just buzz around all over and just, fly to the bumblebee, just all over and just follow your gut at that point.
You gotta love my internet. Sorry, guys.
All good.
There he is.
Yeah,
he's back.
Disconnected.
He looks angry too.
I think what you guys need to do before every stream is put it out to the chat on the odds that he's going to disconnect everyone.
Maybe keep a pool going for stickers and stuff.
We can get some money moving here.
Right.
Over under.
This is like 3 weeks.
I tell you what, if you bet that if I'm at my parents' house, which I am because I'm getting married on Friday.
Oh.
If I'm at this house, I will drop the call eventually because I think I'm sitting on the router right now and it's still not pumping.
So you're getting married Friday, so that means no metal detecting this weekend, right? Are you still going out Saturday? Let's see how good the wife is.
Walking down the aisle holding the Knox.
Yes. Is that your ring bearer? Is the Knox your ring bearer? You can just.
Oh, it should be. That's the cake topper.
It's nestled on a pinpointer.
That's awesome.
Getting out, it's going to be harder and harder, my friend.
My dad's trying to figure out when we're going bottle digging, so he's got a couple of spots. So that's
part of a normal honeymoon, right? Bottle digging.
Yeah. The only thing about being married now, you have to ask permission. Hey, honey, can I go metal detecting this weekend?
There's 2 levels of permissions.
Yeah.
The owner and the owner.
Yes.
Next, Mike.
Oh man.
Hey, the good thing is if I go out metal detecting, it gives her a chance to go shopping. So
your betrothed is in the chat.
When I go out.
There we go.
Yeah. Oh, so your soon to be better half is in the chat.
Boom.
Is he in here?
Yeah.
In trouble. Oh, he was talking bad about you all night long. You just don't know.
You are in trouble.
Hey, Jace, can I get permission to go metal detecting this weekend after the wedding?
This is Sunday. I'm gonna hit some local permit
funny.
That we got. Some of the historic properties. That's exciting.
Hey, Mark said Joel's a copperhead now.
Nah, but we are teammates.
We're our teammates, Mark. Mark's a crazy guy, man.
Yeah, he is.
Diggin, she said we women have to ask our husbands for permission too.
No,
that's true. It's a universal. It's a universal deal with metal detecting.
Well, my wife usually, Well, my wife usually does. She usually goes, "You going out this weekend?" Yeah, and then she's like, "Yeah, we've been married almost 19 years." She's like, "Okay, just go." She probably just wants to get rid of me. That's all.
Mine just hands me the detector, opens the door, and says, "See ya."
Yeah, there you go, Joe. We're in the same boat, man.
Oh, that's funny. Speaking of the dig team, we're all part of the We Dig field team, which is great. It's super exciting. We did say Andy wanted us to definitely announce he's got a awesome giveaway going on right now for We Dig metal detectors. So go to Andy O'Neill's Facebook page, and I'll link it in here once we're all done. Or you can go to his website, wedigmetaldetectors.com or .net. I'm sorry. And
I do the same thing all the time.
Yeah. And he's giving away a pinpointer, a pro pointer, a detect edge shaft, and what's the last thing that's on there?
Pencils.
Best
Oh, yeah,
pencils
the
in the
Arctic
world.
pencil.
Yeah.
I mean, that's an awesome giveaway, and that's going to be worth the money. So just go in there, and if you want to win something, give it a chance. He said the winner will be chosen on
Father's Day.
here
Father's
he
Day,
pulled
yeah.
it up. So winner
Soon.
will be chosen on Father's Day. So look at that. A pro pointer, a Detect Edge shaft, and some Andre pencils. That's awesome.
Yeah,
That's
I
worth
love
it.
them.
Yeah,
They're my
that's got
favorite.
me
There we
this year,
go.
too. I got my-
Ezra said, huh?
I got my
There's
pencils last
going
week.
on there.
There we go.
dig, we dig.
Yeah.
See, Andy
Ezra
needs
said,
to
"I'm
get
sure
these
that's
ones
a hard
too.
no." That's funny.
Andy needs to get these. He needs to start selling these ones too. You guys seen this one yet?
Oh,
Is that
one's
like
that?
the mechanical pencil one?
Yeah, it's the mechanical pencil one.
Oh,
those are
It
so
works
cool.
really good, and it has an extra like
insert thing.
insert and everything.
That's
so
cool.
I actually won this off of somebody on Facebook.
Joel, who
There we
makes
go.
that?
That's cool.
I got that one. Eric, you showed me the one, the
Yeah,
fiberglass,
Serious
the
Force?
screw one with
Yeah.
the fiberglass.
I'm not really sure who makes it, to be honest with you. I won it off somebody's Facebook page, and that's the first one I've ever seen. So maybe I'll have to try to figure out who makes it.
we'll have to do a deep Google search.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
Hey,
pretty neat,
Joel,
though.
watch out, man. Mark's got it out for you. He said,
Dude, Mark's.
he said, Joel's not a copperhead. Good to see you guys have standards.
You know what, Mark? Mark's a mod on my live stream. I could change that in a heartbeat. Mark.
Yeah,
One
watch
click,
it, Mark.
buddy.
Got the leverage.
Gotta watch it,
You
Mark.
better watch it. He is a
One
mod
click.
on my live stream that I do. So no, he's a good guy. He just likes to pick on me, and there's nothing wrong with that.
No, not at all. So, all right. Well, we made it an hour. We might have been a little bit late. So I'm glad you guys hung around while we dealt with some technical difficulties. Ezra, you're going to get a sticker. You've been asking, man. So
Yeah, I'll have them tomorrow.
make sure you come and watch our latest Hunt with Charlie Harley. And I'm sure he's going to put out a video too. So go over there. Go over to Joel's page. Obviously, I think a lot of you already have.
Yeah.
He's very popular, man. So if you haven't, go to Joel's page. And thanks for watching, everybody. We
Thank
had
you.
fun.
Hey,
See
have
you
fun
later,
being
everyone.
married, brother. Have fun.
Yeah.
Have fun on Friday.
The last stream before
And-
the dream.
Yeah, enjoy it because it might only happen once. Who knows?
Dun, dun, dun.
Well, I hope so. All right. Thanks, guys, for watching. Appreciate
Thanks,
it.
everyone.
Bye.
See y'all.
See you next